G'day people, how you going? And today I want to say a phrase that we use in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, I got flack from New Zealanders saying, oh, this slang that you're doing, we use it in New Zealand. Anyway, I'll make another video about that later. So today's phrase is fair go. And this phrase is thrown around quite a lot in Australia. And generally people use it as a historical context as well. So this word fair go means that everyone in Australia, doesn't matter what your race, religion or disability, has a fair go in doing a lot of things. Quite honestly, a lot of people are excluded from doing certain things because of certain conditions like colour blindness, a disability, a height requirement. But this term fair go means that everyone has a chance to do something within reason and obviously legal. So like if someone is going for a job, well, in Australia, everyone should have a fair go to go for that job. But quite obviously, if you don't have the skills, or if you're deemed not suitable during their criteria, then obviously you don't get the job, but you had the fair go to get a job. Now, in the historical context, it's in a mythical thing, so it's like Australians have had a fair go throughout history, but in general that is not the case, because up until 1975 there's something called the White Australia policy, in which people who were deemed not white, you know, like my skin colour, were not really welcome, and they were given an English test in which it was very hard to pass, and probably a lot of Australians wouldn't pass it as well. And yeah, the Liberal government has introduced something like that as well. Anyway, so that will be deemed as not giving everyone a fair go. And Aboriginals or Indigenous Australians, for most of Australia's history until 1967, were deemed not Australians, and were deemed part of the actual wildlife in Australia. So before 1965, they could not have Australian citizenship unless it was conferred to them, like Albert Namatjira. He was a famous watercolor artist, and you should look his stuff up. It's quite good. So where was I? Yes, and they used to work on outback stations, and they were not paid. Like, the government would pay the actual station that run the cattle or whatever, but the Indigenous people were never paid, and they actually just started giving them compensation, which the compensation is quite pathetic. Actually, it's like only about $5,000 to $10,000, and so they're still being treated like shit. And Aboriginals in general don't really get a fair go. Yeah, they get money off the government, but by the police and the judicial system, it's, as far as I'm concerned, still pretty much treated like shit. And refugees at the moment, they're not getting a fair go. So in Australia, this idea of a fair go is a myth. No one actually gets a fair go. Everything relies on who you know, sometimes what you know, but generally who you know. And that is not in keeping with the fair go. But when you come to Australia and you think that something is unfair, just throw in the term fair go, mate, fair go. Just say, oh, the police officer goes, I don't know, you done something wrong here, and there, and just goes, you just can use the term, fair go, mate. I'm just new here. I just need a fair go, and I just need to learn. As long as it's not too dangerous, then I see why not. Like if you, in Western Australia, if you do a U-turn and you don't know that it's illegal, well, I'd say a fair go warning is in hand. But that depends on the police officer. Okay? So, when you come to Australia, use the word fair go. Fair go, mate. Let me do that by myself. Yeah. And you'll have no problems. So, enjoy your day. And have a fair go. And give a fair go to everyone as well. Hooroo.